TT. Good night, y'all. See me over here messing up. Love you all so much. I'm just putting this in the comment section below. Sending you guys love, hugs, and kisses tonight. So as you guys know, tonight, let me get back into this comment section over here. Thank you. Listen, tonight, I definitely wanted to do some questions and answers tonight, just some Q&A. So this way you guys will be able to ask me any questions. So you good. You know what? Can you hear me good? My bad. Can you? Thank you guys. Thank you, baby. Can you hear me good though? Can you guys hear me just fine? Just give me a signal or something so I can know you could hear me fine. Cause guess what? I did not plug. Oh, you can hear me just fine. Okay. Good night, my daughter. Good night, Nikki. Mommy loves you, baby. Good night. And good night, TT. Mommy loves you, baby. Okay? Mommy loves you. But let mommy get to work. Love you, baby. Nice shout out. Listen, guys, how are you doing tonight? It's your girl, Nessa, healing your silence. I appreciate you guys so much for always taking the time out to tap in with me so we could talk about it, right? Get into some of the experience and have the conversations and even ask some of the hard questions that we've been having for a while about different topics, right? As you all know, if this is your first time on this channel, welcome to my channel. This is Healing Your Silence, where on this channel we tap into unhealed wounds that have left you broken for a long time, and somehow you happen to end up in a narcissistic relationship. It might have been a narcissistic parent, family member, friend, or an intimate relationship with a narcissistic person. And we go into more details about what narcissism is and some of the signs to look for in order to help you to get out of this and actually heal as you go through this process. So if you have any questions or concerns or anything, do not hesitate to drop your question in the comment section below. And if there's a topic that you want me to elaborate more on and go live on that topic, do not hesitate to drop that comment and just beside it, just put go live. This way I know you want me to go live on that topic so I could bring you more information. I wanted to leave the floor kind of open tonight to be able to answer questions because I know sometimes waiting a week for us to come back here to talk on a weekly basis does take a long time. And if you have questions that maybe we're not doing one-on-one sessions at the time for you to be able to ask me questions, right? Then here's an opportunity for you to ask me any questions at this time so we could get into it, talk about it a little bit more. So let me know what are some of the challenging questions or some of the things that you have been facing and not sure how to handle it. For all my troopers, my supporters, my day ones, I so appreciate you guys so much. I see Miss P is in the house. Thank you so much, Miss P. I love you so much. I thank God for meeting you and getting the opportunity to work with you so much. You have been a trooper. There's a lot of us that came over from other channels when we started this journey, and we all have just been growing and evolving in progress and just moving in the upward direction. And I so appreciate you guys so much. And I see that we have a lot of things out here to do. We have a lot to offer. And the only way to get it done is to be consistent, is to show up for ourselves on a daily basis and to be here. And I see that, we support each other. I thank you so much for the support and constantly being here, showing up week after week with me. Connie Barnes, I can't tell you thank you enough how much you show up. You pull up, you be working, doing your stuff, and you're not afraid to show up to say, hey, Nessa, I'm here with you. I'm gonna hold it down and I'm supporting you. And I know Demetria is definitely a trooper as well too. D is a trooper, Petal is a trooper. I could go back through a lot of the people that's here, and even Kanita. Sometimes Kanita be driving, y'all, and she pull over so she could tap in and hang out with me at times. So I can't tell you guys enough. Mags, Carol. I mean, sometimes, I see Shelly popping here from time to time. I mean, listen, it's endless the love and the support that goes on, and I'm not gonna be biased about anything, but just to let you guys know, I appreciate you guys so much. And the list goes on way beyond this. So if I don't shout you guys out during this time, just best believe it. You're in my mind, you're in my thoughts, and it's just probably not coming out right now. Kaya, I know sometimes she's here too as well. I mean, the list really goes on. We could spend a lot of time doing this, but the reality is, I just want to say thank you. And that I really appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with me, and don't feel like you're alone. You're never alone. Just spoke about Mags, and here she popped in the room, right? Good night, Mags. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much again for hanging out, just giving out a little love and shout out right now before we get into some of the questions that I want to answer. And I know, let me just start with one that I get asked a lot is, what was some of the things that like what's one of the dumbest things that this person ever said to you, right? And I did a video about it. Perfect. I'll be right with it. One of the dumbest thing that this person ever said is that if we don't argue, then it simply means that I didn't love him, right? And let's be honest, I'm not a person who likes confrontation or arguments. I don't like stuff like that. But I noticed he would always find ways to pick arguments with me. And like I said in the beginning, I did not know what this was like, what it meant when somebody keeps arguing with you, picking fights and stuff like that. And even people would tell you that when someone picks a fight with you to go to leave the house, that's because they're accusing you of what they're doing. I did not understood it because I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I never try to judge somebody or thought less of them. Like, I just take you for who you say you are until you show me otherwise. And I could remember him saying to me that if we're not arguing or if we're not fighting and it looks too smooth or things are going too good, then it's like I didn't love him or anything like that. It has to be some bickering or some argument or some fights or something. I thought that was one of the stupidest things. I thought it was dumb and it was stupid, but nonetheless, I still stayed, right? And now I started to sound like him when I would argue. I would be saying things that are very inappropriate, that are very disrespectful, that are belittling, degrading, which is the same things that he was doing. I'm now mimicking him and mirroring back what he's given to me. I'm mirroring it back to him. I would try to find words to say just to match up to him because where did you get these words from? How do you know to cuss and argue like this? Their upbringing, how they were raised, the type of people they were around. It tells a lot about them, right? Because people don't speak to people like that. You don't have to argue to feel love. Like, that's not love. There's no way that's love. No way at all that had anything to do with love. That was just toxic, unhealthy. Now I know these behaviors are toxic and unhealthy because you can have a conversation with someone and just talk to them about stuff and get the information out, get the conversation out, get your point across. You don't have to raise your voice to talk to someone to get the information out. That was something I learned a little bit later on that I wish I knew a little bit sooner. Let me jump right into this question here. Um, why is it that we ignore the first red flag with the narcissist? No, that's a good question. Why we ignore the first red flag? So I think a lot of times the image that we have of this perfect relationship or what a partnership is supposed to look like, we tend to put that into perspective with the person that's in front of us, right? So we have this fairy tale dream and what we want our relationship to look like because everybody knows, pretty much what they want their partner to look like, not physically look, but the attributes and things that this person is going to have and bring to the relationship. So they have an idea of what that's supposed to look like. And because we have these plans in our head of what it's supposed to look like, oftentimes when the first person comes around or anybody comes around, we tend to fit them into that category. That's one of the reasons why we fit the narcissist into one of those categories because we believe that they fit, right? But in reality, we're not taking the opportunity to get to know who that person is, because we're projecting us and what we want and what we desire that relationship to be onto that person. So there's no room for growth. There's no room to get to know someone. There's no room to assess who that person is, because we're already projecting us onto them. And when they show us the first red flag, we overlook it because we want the relationship so bad. We want to be with someone so bad. So we don't understand our worth and we don't know our value. That's another reason why we tend to ignore the first red flags, because they're there. And I know we spoke about quite a few of these things throughout our season, right? Throughout the seasons before, about some of the red flags that we tend to ignore. Let's be honest. In every relationship, you need communication, you need space, you need time, it needs to be balanced. But what the narcissists they normally do is they bombard your phone. They bombard your space. They bombard your time. So you never have time to recoup. You never have time to think. You never have time to process your own life and have a personal life outside of this narcissist, because now they come in to take over your life and to crowd your space and to maneuver what you're doing and to take over your life. That's a big mistake. And in order to correct those mistakes, have a life outside of the narcissist, outside of anybody for that matter. Always have your friends, your circle of people that you engage with, that you interact with. Have your own social life. It's very attractive. It's one of the most attractive things you can do, is to have your own life, your own social circle of friends. This way, you're not always with your partner, and you're able to go out with your friends and have a social life and interact with them. So the man that's pursuing you, or you guys are, going into a relationship, they'll also know that you have a life outside of them. You're not a clingy person, and you have things to do. Your time is valuable. You have things to do. So start learning how to have your own life. So this way you don't get caught up and lost into a narcissist when they come, because the red flags will be there. And now when you have a life and you can identify who you are, you'll be able to see the red flags better. You'll be able to see when things are unhealthy, because that's unhealthy. And especially when they call you or talking to you, and if you don't respond to them in a certain time period, why you didn't call me back at this time? You said you was going to call me. You said you was going to do this. Why didn't you do it? You said you was going to call me back when you got out the shower, right? And you didn't call me back when you got out the shower. How long did it take you to be in the shower? Like, how long were you doing that for? And it will be so subtle that you start to answer these questions. And that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. When you start answering these toxic questions, when the narcissist starts to pose these questions to you and you start answering them, you start becoming obligated to them when you start answering these questions. So no, start getting to know yourself first. That's how you're going to overcome these things. When you start getting to know yourself and you become more confident in who you are as a person, when they start doing these things and popping these red flags, you'll be able to see them and you'll spot them a mile away, and you know that you can walk away from them. Healthy relationships start with you. Having healthy boundaries start with you. Great question, Miss P. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, my love. Let me go on to the next question. I see Mag has a question right here. Mag says, what do we get out of character? Why do we get out of character when dealing with them? Okay, why? You're uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable. You're out of your elements. Before I even go to the second part of what you said, let's just talk about this part. Why do you ask yourself that question? Why do you get out of character when you're dealing with the narcissist? Their spirit and your spirit do not align with each other. So your spirit cannot be comfortable around their spirit. There's something about your spirit that irritates them. And there's something about their spirit that irritates you. So here, both of you guys are uncomfortable with each other because both of you guys' spirit do not mesh. You guys are not equally yoked. You guys are not compatible for each other. You guys are not, it's not going to work. But for some reason, like the previous question said before, why do we ignore the red flags? Because we want it to work so bad. That's desperation. That's thirsty. That's thirst. So getting out of character, no one should get you out of character, first of all. You you should be so grounded in who you are as a person and so content with who you are that you know who you are. So it doesn't matter who comes or who goes or who do whatever. People are going to navigate in and out of your life, but once you know who you are and you stay consistent and true to who you are as a person, it doesn't matter who comes in and out of your life. You're grounded in who you are as a person. So people on the outside does not influence you. So if the narcissist is irritating you or you're getting out of character with the narcissist, it's also showing that they have control over you, right? That's a display of control because then they're able to control and to regulate your emotion. No one should have that much power over you to determine what kind of day you're going to have, if you're going to have a good day or a bad day. If someone tells you to have a good day or a wonderful day or beautiful, it doesn't matter. That's extra because you already started the day without them. The day was already good without them. The day was already wonderful without them, outside of them. And I'm just giving that as a simple example because you should not, yeah, be out of character because them. But I understand because I once was doing that too, getting out of character because of someone else. Being with the narcissist, you lose your mind. You are out of character. You are going crazy. Yes. You do lose your mind. You don't feel like you have a voice. You don't feel like you're being heard. You feel like you are absolutely nothing when you're in a relationship with a narcissistic person. So you're naturally out of character just being with them, period. You are losing your mind being with a narcissistic person, period. So it does make sense when you start the healing journey and the healing process that you get to know who you are as a person and you start to work on yourself and work on the healing part of things, because on the healed side of things you now find your identity. You now recognize who you are as a person, and the best thing you could do for yourself is know who you are as a person. This way it doesn't matter, like I said before, who comes in and out of your life, because guess what, you're consistent and true to who you are. So you show up true for yourself every day. And that's what's important for you, is showing up for yourself every day. This way, no one gets you out of character. So it's your right, it's your will. If you want to get angry, if you want to get upset, if you want to be happy, if you want to be sad, if you want to be mad. These are all choices that you make on your own because you want to make these choices. It has nothing to do with the narcissist. Don't give these narcissists that much power over you, because their job, their aim is to gain control over you. That's it. That's all they want, is to gain control. And they know that them getting control over you is by targeting the weakest link. The weakest part of you is the most vulnerable part of you. And that's the area that they prey on, and they target that area and use it as a weapon to weaponize it. Okay. So if it's something that they see how you respond to it, how you flinch, or whatever you do when they poke at a certain particular area, they know it's a wound, they know it's a targeted spot, and that's what they aim, and they start to target you in order to break you down and to tear you down at that particular point. So that's how they gain control, because they have to spend time to mold you in, to get you groomed in, so they know everything about you. They know everything. They mimic you. They mirror you. They take time and they ask you questions. And these probing questions are deeper than regular questions. They ask you a lot of questions to get to know how they're going to break you down, to know that the type of target, because some targets are harder than some. Some targets are harder to take down than other targets. And I'm saying targets because that's what we are to them. We're targets, we're their next supply. You understand? So their job is really to study and to see how they're going to break us down. So they spend time around you and study you and master you in order to see what tools they need to use necessary to break you down. And that's how they gain control over you. Once they gain control over you, yes, you're going to be acting out of character. Yes, you're going to be acting, you're not going to be yourself, because now walking into their world. So now you've taken yourself out of your comfort zone, out of the things that you're familiar with, and you're going into unfamiliar territories, and your spirit is fighting against it. Your spirit is resisting it because it doesn't recognize this unfamiliar territory. Your body is giving you warning signs. So when you see that you're coming out of character, it's a warning sign, it's a signal, and you need to pay attention to these signals because your body is telling you something, that these are some of the warning sign that this is unfamiliar grounds here, and you need to back up. Your body is sending you warning signals. So it still goes back to the previous question again. Why are we ignoring them? Because we're not listening to our bodies. We're not listening to our intuition. We're not listening to ourselves. And that's what's creating some of the issues, that we tend to stay in these things longer because we're not listening to our intuition. We're actually listening to our mind. So we're letting our mind lead us, because your mind and society is telling you that you need to do a certain thing. You need to be with a partner. You need to be in a relationship at a certain time. And it tells you so many things. Listen, guys, that's not true. Get to know yourself. Get to know who you are. Guys, your girl is turning 37 in like a week and a half. March 23rd, I'm going to be 37 years old. And I'm single and actively dating. My business. Okay. And they listen, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what society says, that I'm 37 or whatever, and I don't have a partner, whatever. Listen, but I'm happy. I'm content in myself as a person, because my sanity, my peace of mind means everything to me. And then why would I want to stay continuously in an unhealthy marriage or unhealthy relationship that's breaking me down, that's deteriorating my inside? That's stress. That's a silent killer. That's a death trap. Why would I want to stay there and continue to live like that? So no, I'd rather be 37, proud about it, and gorgeous too, might I add, and live my life freely of any stress. So yes, when you see yourself coming out of character for these people and you losing your mind for them, pay attention. When you start finding yourself doing things that you're not familiar with, pay attention, okay? And it says here, I just can't believe this happened to me with him. Believe it. It's a part of your journey. It's not like me, but I thought I was going crazy. No, you're okay. I'm here. Testimony. I'm right here. You're not crazy. Don't be embarrassed about it. Continue to tap into channels like myself. Like, there's more of us out here. Listen, I have more things coming at a later time, but for right now, listen, this is what we're doing, okay? There's so much more information, there's so much more to unpack. Continue to log into these channels. Stay connected with like-minded people who have gone through it and have the experience. And also, if you're choosing a therapist or a coach to work with, try to choose someone who has the experience, the knowledge, and also the qualification as well too. Try to partner with someone who has the information, who can guide you through it, because we know what we're talking about. We know the experiences that we've had. So when you hear them talking about stuff and they have the experience, that's who you want to talk to. Sometimes you go to therapists, they have no clue what narcissist is. They have no clue about things. So choose wisely. Interview the people. When you talk to therapists, you don't always have to go with the first one that you talk with. Talk to multiple therapists or coaches or whatever. Interview them, get to know them, and tap into their mind a little bit to see what information they're going to provide for you, how they're going to help you through this process, because it is very important for them to help you through the process and make sure it's effective. Because not because you're out of this for 10 years, 5 years, does not mean that you're healed. You have to tap in and overcome the things that you've been exposed to, and the things that you've been exposed to and the experience that you have. You need to have validation. You need to know that it was real. It's okay that you had the experience. It's okay that you went through this experience. It's okay. It's a part of your journey. Don't just block it out. Don't just push it away. Don't just push it away. It's a part of your experience. It's a part of the journey. It's okay. You needed this to strengthen you for areas that you needed an opportunity to be stronger in. And that's what it's helping you to do, to become more stronger. Guys, quick break before I go on to the next question. Max, great question. Thanks. I'm going back into the chat to pull more questions out. I appreciate you so much. Don't forget, guys, hit the like button, and you can share this with someone you know who's could benefit from some of the questions that's in here, or get some information for the channel. I appreciate you guys again a lot. I appreciate you guys. Let me see what's the next question in here. Okay. No, you're not going crazy at all. You're not going crazy. It's perfectly fine. Shame, guilt, don't buy into it. That will make you feel like you're going crazy, and don't be embarrassed about it. It's okay. When you start living in your truth, it makes it easier. When you start talking about it and going through it, it makes it easier. And you don't have to be angry with them, because remember, the narcissist can only give you what they have. So sometimes we ignore red flags. We come out of character because we have certain expectations and a certain caliber or a certain character that we want to fit them in. And that's what we do. We tend to put them into a category that we believe that they fit into, and in reality, they don't. They don't. Why did the what did the narcissist do to make us think that we love them? That's a good question. So, you see, the same way how when you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you faking it, yeah. You see how we be faking it and putting on a show because you know you're not happy? You really know you're not happy? They use the same tactic. And that's why I encourage everyone to get to know who you are as a person. Find your identity. Get back into who you are as a person so you could be raw, organic, and true to yourself. The more you're truthful to yourself, you accept everything about you, and you do the true love, self-care. I'm talking about the real stuff. They don't have to push you in one direction, because you're grounded. So you stay grounded, right? So you don't have to fake nothing. You come raw and organic. So if they don't love you for who you are, the raw, true, organic person that you are, that means they don't like you. Present yourself for who you are. If they don't like you for who you are, then you know that's not your person, because you're not faking it. But if you're putting up a facade, best believe it, that person is putting up a facade too. But if you're able to be your raw, true, organic self, then they'll be able to see who you are. And if they like you for who you are, you know that's somebody you could be around, because you don't have to put on a show, and you're not uncomfortable. You're not going to be out of character because you're being your true, authentic self. These are some of the things that you want to pay attention to. So what did the narcissist do? They were being fake. Just like how you were being fake and putting on a facade and putting on a show to lower that person into that relationship, it's the same thing the narcissist was doing. Because the more you're true to yourself and you're being real with yourself, is the more they're going to be exposed. So if they're faking it, you're not going to like the fakeness that they're bringing, because you're being your true self, and it's going to expose them. They can't keep up that facade. They can't keep up the show for too long. So they're going to back out. So they're mirroring you. They're mimicking you. So whatever you're giving it to them, they're giving it back to you. So they have a whole script. So the narcissist, their textbook, okay? Their whole textbook, the whole book. And their script is just pretty much one size fits all. So it's just the next victim. It's the next victim. So the same love bombing things, because they know that there's a weakness there, there's some brokenness, there's some unhealed wounds that's there. That's what they're going to prey on in order to use that as a weapon to lure you in. Oh, my light went out, y'all. They're going to use that as a weapon to lure you in order to break you down real quick. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Let me just swap out this battery. Sorry. My bad. Whew, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So their intention is just to lure you in order to get you hooked onto them. So they shower you with a lot of love because they know that you're missing that. So whatever you're missing, they tend to be that person to provide it to you. And once they're providing you with what you need, you feel like they're fulfilling stuff and they're filling in the gap or something that's missing. Are they really filling in anything that's missing? Or they're just mimicking you, preying on your innocence in order to feed you fake love because it's all a facade, it's all fake. So they're feeding you fakeness and you're buying it. So you're not standing up for yourself. You don't have healthy boundaries and you don't value yourself or you don't know your worth. So they've recognized these things. So they figure if they shower you with a little bit of love, because nobody overdoes anything. And let's think about it though. If a man is truly into you and want to spend time with you and want to be with you, want to be in a relationship with you. And for my men out there, let me know. Is it every woman that you meet, you just shower them with money and you start just buying them things and just giving them things like every woman you meet, that's what you do? And just showering them with stuff? Because I would want you to be somebody who knows how to balance your money, who is financially stable, who's financially grounded, and understand the importance of finances in any relationship and not just throwing yourself around for everybody like that though. I would hope so. So when a man is too excessive and too much, that's already a red flag. That's already something that is a no-no. So yes, they're going to give you what you're missing in order to lure you in and to trick you to thinking that you love them when in reality it's just an addiction. They're just using what you're weak at to prey on that to get you addicted and get you hooked onto them. You don't want to be hooked onto a narcissist. If you guys are not in a relationship with a narcissist, for people who are watching this, maybe on a replay or something, and you're not in a relationship with a narcissist, don't. You will get addicted and you won't realize what hit you until it's too late. Until it's too late because you're far deep into it and you don't know how to get yourself out of it. And most people don't even make it out alive. So if you can save yourself, run. Run for the hills and don't look back. Okay? Let me hop on over here and see if I could pull another question out of these comment section or even just sharing things on here to see where we're at with stuff, right? It says, Amen. Still working on healing and doing better than I was. Glad I found these channels. I'm so glad that you did find these channels because we're just here because we were shocked too that what we went through was not normal. It was not human like. It was just insane. It was on a turmoil, like a roller coaster. It was just really crazy. It was not normal. We couldn't understand what we were going through as well too. And we've gotten the strength, we've gotten the confidence, we've built up and become brave in order to be a brave face to now say, hey, I get it. I understand. I've been there. I have the experience. And I might not have shared a lot of the things thus far, but I've been through traumatic experiences and it's no joke. So for you to even be watching these channels and paying attention to the things that we're saying and we're teaching and educating, it's really important. And I do commend you for doing this because it's not easy. And even participating in the chats at times, it's not easy to do so, but you are showing bravery. You are being in a like-minded environment and you do feel safe in this community. And that's a good start because remember, when you're with the narcissist, you're never safe. You never feel safe. It's just never safe when you're with the narcissist. So just by you being here in these chats, in these comment sections, and even conversing in the chat rooms like this, right? It's so important because it tells that you want to be better, you want to get out of it, you want to see yourself in a better place, and you're making steps, interacting with like-minded people. So you see that you do have a support system and you do have somebody that you could reach out to and you could get your questions answered and you could communicate with people who have gone through the experience or might be experiencing the same thing that you're going through. So I do commend you for doing this. You're doing an awesome job. You know, keep it going. Keep it going. And you guys might not be able to tell, but your girl is not doing her best today. I have a little backache. I'm having a little back pain right now. So I'm trying to do my best here that I can, but I'm having a little back pain tonight. But I think I'm just over excited for my trip coming up. I have a trip. I'm going to Dublin, guys. So for those of you guys who are still going through craziness, when you start taking care of yourself, you're going to find it so amazing to go on trips. This is a nice solo trip that I'm going to Dublin to stay there for about a week and enjoy my birthday coming up March 23rd. So I'm going there for my birthday to just relax, unwind, and just to be there to get the experience. Because from what I understand is that the culture there is different. They're very warm, welcoming, embracing, and what better place to go to that's so that then after coming out of a narcissistic marriage for 13 years, what better place to go than to an environment where people are welcoming, loving, caring, and want to embrace you and welcome you? What better place to go than being around people who welcomes you? So I'm definitely looking forward to getting that experience and touring around Dublin and getting that experience around the city and be around people who actually care. So I'm a solo person. I love hanging out with myself. I love my own company. I love time to recoup and to get myself together. And I always refer myself to like a butterfly, but first the caterpillar. So you go through that phase, that crawling phase where it feels like nothing is happening, right? Then you sit in that cocoon where you have to retreat and pull yourself back to get yourself back together before you're able to fly like that butterfly, right? Before you're able to get to that next stage. And a lot of times, sometimes we're going through phases like that in our lives, and we don't know that it's a part of the process. It's a part of the journey. You can't skip one process to get to the next. You have to go through the process because there's stages to it and there's lessons to be learned as you go along and you go through the process. So it's okay, whatever part of that process you're going through, get the experience. You might have to sit quiet for some time. You might have to sit in that cocoon phase and go through that silence, that moment of silence where you have to really tap into you and get to know who you are as a person all over again. So it's really important for you to get to know who you are and spend some time with who you are as a person. And sometimes it's okay. It's okay to just say no. It's okay to walk away from people. It's okay to walk away from situation that does not serve you. And if something is not for you, then let it be. Let it go. It's okay. Because the things that's for you can't be for somebody else. The things that's meant for you, God will give them to you in due season. God will give you things in increments where he feels like you can manage them. And oftentimes we have a plan and we're looking at the big picture and we're looking at the entire goal and saying this is the plan, but God knows the bite-sized pieces that we can take, and sometimes he reveals the plans, the goals, the vision, the purpose that he has for us in bite-sized pieces because he knows how much we're able to handle. He knows how much we can manage, so he gives this to us in small pieces. So sometimes where you are and where you want to be might be two different places, but there's a journey that you have to go on in order to get where you need to go. And sometimes along the journey, things come, there are bumps, there are hiccups and things that comes along the way that you might not be prepared for. You might not be ready for them, but it's necessary for you to have these experience and go through them because in the long run, it's there for your good. It's going to help you get to that butterfly stage where you've now blossomed into something amazing and you're now flying and soaring higher heights, right? So for right now, you might have to hang low. You might have to retreat. You might have to fall back, but just know that there's something beautiful ahead of all of this. It will all be worth it, knowing that even your experience that you went through with the narcissist, it will all be worth it. You couldn't tell me, you couldn't tell me that because I just want to be with one person for the rest of my life. Like that's it. I don't listen. Once we good, we click, we did. I'm it. I'm done. We done. Like I'm not like, gonna be running around these. I'm not for the streets. Okay. The streets ain't calling me. They don't even know my number. They're not calling me, okay? I ain't for the street. So just one person, be done with it, and that's it. So when I was with this one person, like I said, I thought that was it. I put in everything I could into making that work because I thought that's what it was. But when it became detrimental to my health, when my state of mind was deteriorating, when my finances were going downhill, when my credit was becoming horrible, when my credit was something that it was unrecognizable, like it was less than 500. My credit score was down to less than 500. When things like that, and I was at a 780 before, and it went down to less than 500. When you start watching how you're deteriorating, I was mentally being deteriorated. I was being damaged from the inside out. You know how something's rot and it's rotten, like a rotten apple? I was rotting from the inside out, okay? Mentally rotten. Like my brain was not mine anymore and stuff like that. So I know what it's like when you're going through stuff. It's not okay when you're going through stuff with these monsters. You start to deteriorate from inside. You start to have different diseases, different diseases, okay? It's a disease. And disease is really dis-ease. Your body is not at ease. Whatever's going on is not at ease. It's at a dis-ease. So you need to get it at ease. So you need to remove that dis. That's not for you. And that's what it is when you're with a narcissistic person. They mentally drain you. They watch you sit there and suffer, and they're sitting there watching you suffer. When you get with a good partner, you're definitely going to see the difference. But that's not a video that we're talking about tonight. We'll get into that some other time. But you will see the difference. When you're with these people, they are draining you. You're not eating proper food. And I know that for a fact. You're eating any time of night, you're eating anything, and it's not nutritious, it's not a balanced meal, you're not exercising, you're not doing facial cares, you're not doing skin care, you are not taking care of yourself. And if you were doing it, it was fake because you weren't even happy doing it. It was fake. It was not real. And it wasn't from a good place either. I already know that because I was trying to work out. Listen, I bought all the gym equipments you could think about. I have a life cycle spin bike. I have the bar bench, the bench press that you work out with. I have all these dumbbells, kettlebells. I have the ladder, the stairs. I have so many gym equipments. And I used to train people as well too for fitness. I used to train people. But my thing is that I was not mentally there. I couldn't continue to do it because everything I put myself out to do, he would torture me down. Oh, I'm sleeping with everybody at the gym. Oh, I'm sleeping with this. Oh, I got a man here, a man there. I had so many men. I don't even know how I could have kept up with so many men. He gave me so many partners. Like I had so many men. Poor me. But they always tell on themselves. They always tell on themselves, but we're not paying attention because we're thinking about them as if it was us. So that's what it goes back to projecting you onto somebody else. They're not. Take people for who they are and learn to accept them for who they are. My finances, my house, my taxes, everything was getting backed up, and I was getting backed up into a corner of destruction. I was going backwards with this person, and he was just watching from the sideline, just watching to see how far deep I was going to be destroyed, broken down. And he was watching from the sidelines. A friend of mine did something for me because the taxes had backed up on my house so bad, y'all. So bad. I'll share that story with y'all. So bad. It was like about $45,000 because the area I was living in, my taxes annually was about $16,000. Okay. So it's $16,000 a year. And mind you, this man sabotaged my job, sabotaged everything for me, and I wasn't able to work. And I got hurt on the job too. So that as well too. So I wasn't able to work along with him sabotaging my job. And he wasn't bringing in any finances or anything, right? And all I'm saying is like, let's partner together. Let's work and figure this thing out so we could get this going. Now the taxes, I gave him the money to pay the taxes, and all he needed to pay was that $1,000. He didn't pay the $1,000. So here comes new taxes on top of this one now. Now the house is going to be taken for a tax lien because there's $1,000 owed. But in order to even get that, you have to pay the whole $16,000 with the $1,000. So now it's $17,000. Plus here comes a new year tax being put onto this. So here we are about $45,000 basically in taxes. A friend of mine took out $60,000 in hard money and loaned it to me. Now you tell me what friend is going to do that for you and you not run off with it. My friend did that for me. And that's a friend who I know is a true friend to me. And I'll never disrespect that person ever. I mean, I'm not that person anyway. But when my friend came through and did that for me, I did everything I could. And I learned as much as I could with construction. I learned how to renovate the bathroom. I learned how to do this, and I got that house up and running, designed a place. And I'm going to probably one of these days, I'm going to try to see if I could get some pictures and attach them in. That's what I should have done, link my stuff and show you guys the pictures so you can have more of a visual to see some of the work that I was doing. So you can see when I tell you I had to learn carpentry, build a pantry, design the kitchen, put up backsplash, put them on the wall, did all of the work, and I had to learn as much as I could because I didn't have money to pay a contractor, and he was not helpful, somebody who could help me to do anything in the house. I had to demo the bathroom, tile it out, grout everything, do everything for the waterproof, do the waterproofing membrane in order to waterproof the bathroom, tile it out, put the fence on the bottom so the floor would be nice and sturdy. I had to learn these things and get them done. Put up drywall, do the sheet rack, the spackle, all of these things. And I know I'm talking constructions and it sounds crazy, but when you have to do what you got to do to get out of what you need to get out of, you're going to have to tighten that belt buckle and do what you got to do to get out. Because if you don't see the level of destruction ahead of you, it will be too late when it hits you. Because all he was sitting there doing was watching from the sidelines because he wanted to see my children and I out homeless and out on the streets. I made that commitment to learn the construction, to put in that work, and to get the job done. After I did all those labors and everything, I put the house, I called him and I told him I'm putting the house up for sale. Because we're married and I put his name on the property, I sold the house and I gave him whatever he needed to get. And I walked away. I walked away. Sometimes it needs to be that you're walking away for your peace of mind. You're cutting your losses and you're starting over. Sometimes your walk away needs to be that you no longer see yourself going through abuse, that you no longer see yourself going through torture, that you no longer see yourself being manipulated, being tortured, being abused, or being taken advantage of. Sometimes you need to walk away because it's so necessary for you to be better, because the mission and the purpose ahead of you is more important. Sometimes your walk away needs to be that your life is dependent on it, your health is dependent on it, your state of mind, your mental wellness is dependent on it. I was weighing 296 pounds. I was 296 pounds of stressed out. I was literally 300 pounds. I don't eat burger, but give me a burger and I would have tipped the scale to 300. 296, it's literally 300. I'm knocking on 300. So sometimes your walk away needs to be that your life is dependent on it. Your health is dependent on it. Sitting back ruminating about them, it is, I know it's hard to say let it go, but you got to make a decision. You have to make a decision to let that stuff go. You have to make a decision to want better. You have to make a decision to say, this is not what I want to do. This is not serving me no good. That's something I had to do. I sold my house, took my kids out of their great school district, their comfort of their own room, their beds, everything, their beautiful playroom, having a theater in the basement. Like they were comfortable and that house was fully paid for. I didn't owe anything on that property. I'm not saying this for bragging purposes. I don't operate as such. I'm saying this to you to show you the magnitude of what I had. And I let go of that and walked away from it because my peace of mind and my sanity was more important. Working on yourself is much more important than anything else. You can't ask for your peace of mind. You can't ask for your sanity. You can't ask for your mental health. You can't ask for these things back. The longer you sit there and go through the torture with them, the longer you stay there. You know the one thing I told this man, because there was no kitchen in the house. There was no kitchen. What I did, I took a piece of plywood, maybe like a 4x4, something like a nice size plywood, and I got some 2x4s, and I screwed them together in order to make a table, and I try to connect the bottom part so it would be a little bit sturdy. And I made a table and put it in the kitchen with a sink that I got from Lowe's. And that's what was in the kitchen. That's what I was using in the kitchen. I ordered a standalone pantry in order to have a pantry in the kitchen. I had a white tub on the floor that had all the pots inside the tub. So when I'm telling you this is what it was like, and I was willing to go through this fight in this process to get things done. All I said to this man is, can you come up with at least $3,000 or $5,000, maybe $3,000 to help me to put a kitchen in this house so that it will be ready for sale? The man told me, yeah, give me about 2 or 3 weeks, he said. I ain't hear from him. Went ghost, as we know how they do. They go ghost, and they're sitting there watching from the sidelines, waiting for you to fall, waiting for you to cave in, waiting for things to fall apart right in front of your face. Because what? Once it falls apart in front of your face, then it's like, haha, they get to sit there and laugh at you. But the reality is, God knew the plans that He had for me. And that's why I want you guys to always think about the plans that God has for you, the thoughts that He has for you. In Jeremiah, think it's 29:11-13. The plans that God has for you are plans of good, are thoughts of good and not of evil. Those are the thoughts that He has for you to give you an expected end. When you know His word and you bank on His word, you know that He's going to come through. So in every situation that you're going through, look for God. Look for Him in the situation, because He's going to point you in the right direction where you're supposed to go. I asked my friend, and that's my friend over 20 some odd years. We've been friends. And I asked him if he'll be able to do this for me. He said, yeah. He didn't hesitate. He said yes right away. And he did it. And what I did, I made sure I did what I said I was going to do, renovate this house. So I got all the cabinets put in. And then I built my own pantry, learned how to do everything, and built the pull-out drawer pantry, did everything myself. Did the black splash, did everything, and made sure it was beautiful, and sold the house. Gave that man his money, paid back my friend the money that he borrowed for me, and gave him a thank you on top of it. And I'm saying that because sometimes your peace of mind, you have to recognize the people in your life that loves you, the people that are there for you, the people that cares about you. You have to recognize these people. And sometimes these are the people that we overlook. Sometimes these are the people who we don't respect. We don't give them the time of day to tell them thank you, or I love you, or I care about you. We don't do this. But we gave so much to the narcissist, so much. That man was sitting there watching from the sidelines to see the house go, to see me lose the house, so that the kids and I would end up on the streets. That's what he was sitting there waiting for. But the plans that God has for me is different. It's different. My life is not dictated by man. No man or woman, for that matter, can dictate what direction my life goes in. God is the only one who's in control of that. I don't even dictate what goes on in my life. I depend on Him. I lean on to Him for everything. I lean on to Him for understanding, because I don't understand a lot of things. So I trust in Him and I lean on to Him for stuff. So I'm just saying that to say this to you guys, that it takes a brave face to sit up here and to share these things. But it also takes someone who wants better for others, and it's not selfish. It's not just for me. I'm not embarrassed about what I went through. I'm not embarrassed about it. When I was in it, I was embarrassed because I couldn't believe that someone could be so cruel. I couldn't believe it that someone could really sit here and abuse me the way he did. couldn't believe that I had a close relationship with the detectives at the police department because they would come on the block and just sit there to watch the house to make sure I'm okay. I didn't know someone could be so cruel to do stuff like that. And then to sit there to watch you suffer and to threaten your life and to tell you that they're going to kill you, they're going to unlife you. Huh? That's what they would threaten you in order to keep fear and to keep you bound to the thing. But the devil is a liar, because what you want me to be bound to is the same thing that God freed me from. So you can't keep me bound to anything. You can't have these shackles on me when God already done broke the yoke off of my neck because I put him first. The narcissist was my God. The narcissist was my God. Put him first. I wanted the relationship with him to work first more than anything else. He was my God. But it shows you what your God does for you. Okay? So when the narcissist is your God, what do you get from that type of God? Destruction, sleepless nights, torture, abuse, dishonesty. You don't get love. You don't get respect. You get nothing good when you get put that God in power. So you are the one who's given that God power. So if you continue to give that God power, that God will have power and dominion over you and will control your soul and dictate what goes on in your life. But when I decided that that's not the God I want in my life anymore, I jumped ship and I put a different God in power of my life. The one and true living God. The one that's true yesterday, today, and forever, the one that's with us always, the one who showed me that even when I chose another God over him, he never left me. And his words are true, that he would never leave you nor forsake you. Those words are true. You could bank on his words. You could take his words to the bank. That's how true they are. He said what he said. I had to start writing notes to remind myself of the mission. I was looking to see if I see. There we go. Found it. I don't know if you guys could see it. Ooh, the lighting. Okay. I don't know if you guys could see it. This was one of my notes that I write, and I'll tell you what it says. It says, trust God will do it. Believe in God to do it. Have faith in God. It's in God for him to do it. Know that God did it. Know that he's working it out for your good. These were some of the post-it notes that I had to write myself in order to remember. I will put them on the kitchen counter and I'll read them. And I had another one, like I had more of these little notes that said, no infidelity, no dishonesty, no distrust. And this was me coaching myself to not think about the narcissist in order to remove the narcissist from my mind. That's one of the things that I did in order to get that narcissist out of my mind, because remember, they bring you infidelity, they bring you distrust, they bring you all. So I had to write it on a piece of paper and look at it. No doubt, no doubt. I would not doubt the words of God. I would not doubt what God. So I had to write it down. No doubt, no dishonesty, no distrust, no disloyalty. I had to write these things down because it was important to me to remember the promises of God, to remember the plans that God has for me. And I did that. Got through the home selling process, sold the house, and I walked away. Walk away, guys. Walk away from these narcissistic people and don't look back. You don't need to ruminate about them. You don't need to reminisce about them. You don't need to be thinking about them. They are not relevant. That effort and energy that you're spending on thinking about them, you could be putting that to good use. You could be putting that to helping somebody else in need. You don't have to sit there and go through torture with these narcissistic people any longer. You are free. The veil has been lifted. They are exposed and you are free. Walk in your freedom. God freed you. And let's really think about it. If God gave us free will, God gave us free will. Why would you want somebody else to take away your free will? Why would you give your free will to somebody else? Don't give your free will to anybody else. Take control of yourself. Take control of your life. Take it back. Take it back. You have free will, so don't let the narcissist take away your free will, and don't try to take away their free will either. It's an even playing field. You're free. Walk in your freedom. You don't need to take away their freedom, and don't let them take yours. You will never have your moment that's normal, where we were dealing with a whole demon and we're here to talk about it. Right. You right. Listen, I posed the question and asked someone on my TikTok channel, what was it like being married to the narcissist? What was it like being married to the narcissist? And the reality is, you came into agreement with a demon, with a devil. You came into agreement with this thing. You wanted to become one with the devil. Yeah. Yeah. We don't have to agree, but let that sink in for a little bit. Let that sink in for a little bit. You wanted to be free. You are free from this thing, rather. But you wanted to be in covenant. You wanted to be in a union. You wanted to be in a bond with this narcissistic person. And that's what you were tied to. That's what you were having communion with, is that narcissistic person. That's what you were sleeping with the enemy. This is literally you sleeping with the enemy. Literally. It's okay though. It's okay. It's okay. Now you know. Now you know. Now you have the authority to walk away. Now you know that you're not dealing with a normal person. You're dealing with someone who has given the devil authority over their lives. You have given, you have been in a relationship with someone who has surrendered to the dark side. Someone who has either been sacrificed to the dark side and is walking that path and have chosen that lifestyle, but it's all a choice. The same way how you have a choice, it's the same way the narcissist has a choice. So a lot of times we'll ask the question, does the narcissist know that they are a narcissist? And the reality is they know who they are. Even if they don't know the terminology to say it's a narcissist, they know who they are. They know they're not genuinely happy with you. They know they don't like you. They don't want to be around you. They don't. And ladies, quick tip before I move on from here. Quick tip. Learn to give a man space. I was talking with a client yesterday, and he said, it's a guy. I was talking to a male client yesterday, and his comment to me is that I like my girlfriend, but she never goes home. She never leaves. And I want to miss her. I want to miss her so I can crave her. But she never leaves. Ladies, don't be with someone who don't want to be with you. Okay? They don't want to be with you when they act like that. If somebody's not happy to be around you, because if you guys are moving towards marriage, you're going to be married to this person. So where did you want her to leave and go? To go home and come back? So you enjoy the luxury of her, what she brings, but she never leaves? She never leaves? That's what he said? So where's marriage in the future? There's no marriage plans in this future, apparently, right? Because if you're complaining that she never leaves, that means you don't really want to be around her. But you're telling me that you like her and you want to be with her and you love her. That's not true. You don't know the difference. That's not true. You don't like her. And oftentimes, those red flags that we ignore in the beginning, back to that question, is one of the reason that we end up later on saying these things about the partners that we're with, because we didn't exercise time to get to know that person. So here we are now at a stage where we're saying, I don't want to be around this person. They're always in my face. They're always around me and they never left me. So it's like I never got a chance to miss them. Clearly, you guys need to talk about some things. Clearly, you guys are not giving each other healthy space or have not created healthy boundaries or have a great communication style in the relationship. There's clearly a breakdown in this relationship, and that's what's overflowing is the breakdown here in this relationship. These are some of the things that it breaks my heart to hear it, because I know what it feels like when you're with someone who does not like you, don't like you, let alone want to be around you. They don't like you. And to hear it from a man saying that, I like her, I like my girlfriend, I do this for her, I do that for her. Doing things for someone does not validate the love that you have for someone. And healthy spaces and healthy boundaries is good, but there's more issues in that relationship than just wanting your space from that person. You want them to leave? Oh my God, it broke my heart. But that's off topic. That's a rabbit hole for another time. Sorry, y'all. Well, awesome for you, Vanessa. I have tried to do the same, and luckily my daughter is great. Is a great help for me, and it's fun with the kids. We do want to do that. Yes, you want to have some time for yourself. You want to be able to balance your lifestyle and to do things that works best for you. That's one of the things that you want to do, is be able to take care of yourself. Positive affirmation is a great way to get through some of the unhealthy things that we're going through. Positive affirmation, positive reinforcement, positive things. I write these little notes, these card notes, like I write them and I have to highlight the important things that I know, and I use it as a friendly reminder. When I was going through it and I needed to walk away, I found strength in this. I found strength in knowing that these are some of the promises that God has for me. And these are some of the things that I need to remind myself of. So I'll be able to stay strong and to get out of it. And the best thing you could do for yourself is to stay focused, to heal yourself, because the last thing you want to do is to not be able to have healthy conversations with someone without sounding like you're bringing on the baggage of the past to the relationship. That's not something healthy. That's not something healthy. Once you've taken the time to heal and to master the things, you can share it with somebody if you choose to. You could even wait like, I'm not telling you what to do, but even 5, 10 years later, this person's still getting to know you. They're still getting to see a part of you and getting to uncover you as you guys go along. You don't have to dump everything on somebody to the moment you meet them, but be honest, be open, be transparent, and let them get to know who you are. You're not losing anything. You're not losing a thing. You're not losing. You can't lose. You always win. So write this affirmation down. Say this to yourself. I can't lose. I never lose. I always win. Things always work out for me. When you start thinking like that and having that mindset, you go out there knowing that things always work out for you. Because if someone is no longer in your life, it's still working out for you because they weren't supposed to be there. And if somebody is in your life, that means they're supposed to be there. So however it's working out for you, you need to know you always win, you never lose. Things always work out for you. They work out for your good. Oh, that's Ebony. Good night, Ebony. Oh, you got a new name. Blessed beyond measures. Amen. 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 Okay. Good night, Ebony. Welcome, sweetheart. You still have my, see, I love it because I do my affirmations and I speak positive into my life. Like I never lose, I always win. Things always work out for me. Sometimes we think that holding on to these narcissistic people is a thing that you need to do. I had to recognize that he became my idol. He was my idol. He was my God. And God had to show me that anything you put in front of me, I'm going to remove it. I'm going to get it out the way to show you who I am. And he did just that. So now I put him as my God in his rightful place on the throne where he belongs. So now everything works out for me. Everything works in my good, for my good, because he works them out for me. I don't stress. I don't worry myself. I don't go crazy about stuff. If I get emotional about stuff, or when I get emotional about stuff, that's because I'm going against the plans that God has for me. When I go against the plans that God has for me, I'm telling you, my girlfriends will tell you, I'll be bawling and hollering and screaming and crying like a young baby because I'm going against God's plan. I don't do that no more. I allow God to work everything out for me because he knows the plans that he has for me, and he does it on his timing, not on mine. If I try to move things faster than what he's doing, it never works out for me. So I don't do that no more. I trust him. In all my ways, I acknowledge him because he is directing my path. So I trust him. And what he has taught me is that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I remember the nasty words that this man used to say to me, the things that he would say to me, the times where he would come into the house late at night, maybe at 12, like 12 o'clock, he would pop in the house. And the moment he walked in, you could feel the atmosphere shift, the energy shift. And I would lay in the bed and he would just start striking up an argument because I'm saying nothing and I'm just laying there. And he started cussing and carrying on and going off crazy, and I would just say nothing. But the thing that God had to do for me during that time period was to educate me and to teach me about spirituality. Those were the lessons that I learned during that time. So sometimes, like I said, going through the caterpillar phase and being, having to sit in that cocoon stage, you have to be obedient and allow him to move you and to use you during that time. And I remember he started to teach me the spirits of discernments. That's when I started to learn the spirits of discernments. I started to recognize them. So I was able to see them and I could call them by name. I knew the spirits that was in operation. I could tell when depression came home. I could tell where destruction walked through the door. Okay. I could tell where dishonesty walked through the door, deception. Listen, I knew when deception walked through the door. The spirit of deception, when that thing came through the door, I knew it. Manipulation. I knew when all these spirits, the spirit of destruction, the spirit of backwardness, that was one that was there. Whenever you hear your partner or I'm talking about the narcissistic partner, whatever, when you hear your partners keep talking about the past, and they're stuck in the past, and they can't seem to be in the present or going into the future with you, and they're stuck in the past and they want to remind you of the things that you did then and the things, and they're just backwards. That's that spirit of backwardness. Okay, that's that spirit that's pulling you back from going forward. That's backwardness, and you have to recognize it. You ever pick up your Bible and you can't read it, you can't get to it? That's that spirit of tide. These are all demonic spirits that are there to attack you, to distract you from what you're supposed to be doing. But if you're not tuned in, you won't be able to recognize them and to be able to identify them when they come. They're there. You got to pay attention and be able to recognize them. I started to know who walked through the door. So now I rest in his presence. I rest in God's presence because I realized that he's doing way more than I could imagine. God used to show me in my dreams or in my visions, he would show me where this man is and what he was doing. I would see them in my visions. So I was never surprised. I was never shocked at anything. And even until today, I still get that. It still happens to me today. Things and people in my life, God shows me them first. So I'll know. I never worry because all things work for my good. I always win. I never lose. Family, my family on here, I love you guys so much. And I want you to understand, start speaking these things into your life. Start speaking positive into your life. Things always work out for your good. You always win. You never lose. Think about that. Repeat it to yourself. All things work together for my good. My good. I win. When you start seeing yourself in that positive light, when you start seeing that positivity about who you are and what's your intention and what the plans that God has for you, you will start to see that there's a greater purpose out here for you. Sometimes God has to put us through these experiences because He has something greater for us on the other side. But oftentimes we're sitting there caught up in the situations that didn't work out instead of looking at, look what God saved me from. Look what he spared me from. He spared my life from this experience. He spared me. You know, sometimes when people are going through torture, right? And they're like, you know what? Go ahead, go over here. I'm not going to torture you. And they spare your life. They give you a pass. That was a pass. Look how God is shielding you from the devastating, life-threatening disease of this narcissistic person. Look and see how much God has shielded you and protect you with his powers. But we're looking at the things that didn't work out for us instead of looking at, look what God saved me from. Look what he prevented me from. Look at the plans that God has for me. Look at the plans that God has for me. Look at the things that God is doing for me. Look what he's working out for me in my favor for me. Look what he's doing. Why don't I give him praise and say, thank you, God, for allowing me to not continue with this narcissistic person? Thank you, God, for allowing me to not continue to go through things with this person. God, if you didn't want me to do this, thank you for doing that. And what I told my kids this morning, dropping them off to school this morning, I said, baby girls, God loves you. He loves you so much. And it doesn't matter who's your mommy or your daddy. God wanted you here on this earth because you have a purpose. So he will use anybody to get you here because he wants you here. So you belong here, you have a purpose here, and we're going to stick to that purpose. So it's not to bash the dad or the mom who's a narcissistic parent or who we think we're the good parent. Sometimes you being the good parent or think you're being the good parent is not so much such a good parent. Because a lot of times, because you're the only one that's there, you get hit with everything. You get hit with the good, the bad, the ugly. So your worth, you're not being appreciated the way you're supposed to be appreciated because you're the one who's there doing everything. You don't get a moment to breathe. You don't get a moment to have your me time, your personal space, or to do a lot of things. So you're getting tortured from many different angles. But guess what, though? God chose you to do this, to go through this journey. For those of you who did not have children with the narcissist, you have skipped out on a hard task. You have skipped out on a hard task. Do you know how hard it is for your children to grow up knowing that their dad is alive and he's over there somewhere, but he's not in his right mind? But mommy chose that person or daddy chose that person as their partner, as their dad or their mom. But now they have to grow up with that emptiness, with that void. And now you have a job to fill that, to help them to fill it. But you'll never be able to fulfill it. But it is a hard task. So sometimes when you think that things are not working out or you wanted things a certain way, remember, God knows the plans that he have for you. Don't live in regret, but live in gratitude and watch how things work out for you. When you start living in gratitude and start being grateful for things, you're going to see how much they work out for you. They work out for you, for you, for you, for your good. It works out. Don't, it works out. It really does. And I wouldn't tell you that I would do my job any different, because I think I kind of spoke this into my life too. I did. I did somewhat had something to do with speaking this over my own life. So there is life and death in the tongue. And when you speak things, sometimes you don't realize that you spoke it years ago and it's now being fulfilled. Because I remember when I started to recognize, and this was like maybe like year 1 or 2 into the marriage, like I think it was maybe like 1 or 2. I remember saying to him that I don't even want to be with you because this is not what I want. But just give me my kids and you could go on about your business. I remember saying that. I did. Because I know that I didn't get the love that I wanted growing up. I didn't get that type of love. And and I realized I couldn't give him that type of love, and he wasn't able to even give me back that type of love. And I recognized that really early before children. But he used to harass me for kids. So I remember my response was that just give me my kids and go on about your business. I don't care about the man. I'll just be a sperm donor or whatever. Just give me my kids and I'll be fine with them. So be careful of the things that you speak into your life. Be careful of the things that you accept because of who you're with, because you will live to reap the seeds that you have sown. Be careful of the things that you're speaking over your life or over your children's life. So what I suggest, start speaking positive things over your life. Start speaking life into your life. Start. Not that it was a bad thing, but I already didn't see us going anywhere. But I think my shame was like, at least let me get something out of this marriage, so I wouldn't feel like I failed. My pride did that. My shame did that. And that's what I did. So even when he was torturing me to have children and all these things and blah, 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 the story goes on, right? A small part of me wanted the kids so I could love on them. I wanted somebody to love. I wanted someone to care for. I wanted someone to cherish, because I know I have it in me to give love, but I didn't want to be taken advantage of. I didn't want to be abused in order to give the love that's inside of me, right? So give me my child. Give me a child so I could give that child the love and the attention and the nurture. So they're not a mistake. God will use anyone to bring them into this world so that you can give them the love and the desire and the attention and the nurture that they need. God will work it out for you. Just trust Him to do it and He will get it done. There's people that don't know that God has a plan for them. So they think that because they didn't have a successful relationship or a successful marriage or successful partnership with the narcissist, that God has forgotten about them and God is now working things out for them. Let me tell you, that is not true. That is not true. He knows what you want, but He wants you to exercise patience. If I have nothing to give you today, I'll give you patience. I'm not stripping off any band-aids today. I'm not digging into any wounds today. No, I'm not. I'm just giving words of positivity today. There's no assignments on this live today. There's no assignment on this show today. No, I'm not doing that. It's just a friendly reminder and a positive encouragement to know that you're doing good. You've come thus far. You're doing good. Do not give up now. Do not look back. If you're looking back, it's to really see how far you came from. But don't look back because you want to go back there. It might feel hard because you're walking into unknown territory and it feels uncomfortable because you're walking into things unknown. Excuse me. But the reality is the plans that God has for you is bigger than you can imagine. The plans that He has for you is more amazing than anything else. Trust Him that He's going to work it out for you. Write it out. Have a conversation with Him. Talk to Him about it and watch Him work it out for you. He's doing it for me every day. Some days I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like, but I know the plans that God has for me. And He says, start, make a move, Write the vision, make it plain. Habakkuk, what, 2, 2 and 3, somewhere around there? 2 to 3. Write the vision, make it plain. If you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail. Write a plan out. Have a plan. Failure is not an option, but giving up is definitely failing is an option, right? You can choose to fail, but giving up is not an option. You never give up. Don't you ever give up. Yeah. If you fail at something, it's okay. That's an option. But go ahead. Try again. Put your best foot forward. Give it another shot. But don't give up. Don't quit. Quitting is not an option. Don't quit. Don't quit. It's okay to fail. It's okay to have a failed marriage because it didn't fail. You got experience, you got exposure, you got knowledge, you know what to do the next time around. There's nothing wrong with that, right? That's what you're walking into. What's going to happen the next time around? Listen, Miss P said this came from a song. She said there's a line in the song that says, all the things that we accept be the things that we regret. Okay? So if you're accepting the things and you're just accepting things and they're not just flowing and letting it flow naturally and it's for you, but you're just accepting it, then those are the things that you tend to regret. So those red flags that you ignore, those red flags that you accept in the beginning and the early part of the relationship are the things that you now live to regret. So if we really think about it and track back and see what do you regret most about it? That they never paid you any attention, they never loved you, they never nurtured you, they never respect you, they never valued. Those are the things that we accepted because we didn't know how to appreciate ourselves and how to value ourselves. So with that being said, I want to wrap it up tonight, kind of go back over some of the recap, right? Like you guys know, tonight I didn't go in for a topic. It was just Q&A, just to answer a few of your questions. And you guys did pose some really good questions because what better way for us to do it than to talk about it, right? And I'll try to see if I could do this once monthly for the Q&As once monthly, and continue with what we do to meet here weekly so we can go over things outside of our normal meet time, doing our one-on-one sessions and our meets, at a later time. So if you guys do have any questions for me and want to continue this conversation at a later time or ask me more questions, feel free to email me at healingyoursilence@gmail.com, right? Or you can text me or give a phone call to 516-770-8697, or you can hop onto the website. It's healingyoursilence.org. I do have that website up. You can book an appointment there, or you can also use my Bitly. I'm going to use my Bitly link. I'm going to have that listed down below as well too, so that you guys have multiple ways how you can reach me. My name on TikTok is the same, Healing Your Silence on TikTok. So it's another way how you guys can get in touch with me as well. If you're on Instagram, again, Healing Your Silence. So you could DM me or stuff like that. So I try to make sure I'm available to answer your questions. I do have some availabilities in my schedule, and I'm going to be away in Dublin, but if there's an emergency or there's something that needs my attention, I'll be more than happy to give you guys that attention while I'm away, because I want to still probably do lives and show you guys a different atmosphere or show something, just to at least bring you on my trip with me so you guys can also get the experience from a distance, right? So I definitely want to include you guys in it, want to take pictures and put videos and stuff on my TikTok. So if you want to keep up with what's going on my trip, as a little vlog kind of thing, you can definitely check it out on my TikTok page. And maybe I'll probably try to do some stuff on Instagram as well too. I appreciate you guys always for hanging out with me. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the like button, leave a comment below, share this live with someone else. And thank you again to all my new subscribers. Thank you for joining the Healing Your Silence family. And to my day one supporters, I love you guys 1,000. Listen, you guys are such troopers. And I know sometimes, even if you guys are sitting in the background and not commenting, you're here. Our presence is here, and we're here with each other. And that's what I want to bring, is positivity. That's all you're going to get on this channel. I really would love to sit here and bash the narcissist and hammer them and go down the hill, but that's just played out for me at this point because I want to walk into the greatness. I want to walk into the good stuff. I want to walk into that because they don't deserve that much energy. I don't need to pour into them that much energy. I need to reserve that energy for myself and pour into the good and the greatness of things ahead and the things not seen. So have faith. And faith is having a belief in the things unseen, is hoping for the things unseen. So have faith and know that there's something greater for you on the other side of this narcissistic abuse. And that's what I want to give, that word of encouragement to remind you that on the other side of the narcissistic abuse, there's life outside of it. Guys, next Friday, I might not do a show next Friday, the 17th, because I'm going to be preparing for my trip. And as you guys know already, I'm heading to Dublin, Ireland. So your girl is going to try Guinness. Yes, I'm going on the record that I'm going to be drinking Guinness. Oh, pray for me. But I'm gonna give it a shot and tour the place and get to know what's going on there and learn a thing or two, you know. So I might not do a show next Friday night, but worst case scenario, we come on, say hey, good night for maybe about 30 minutes. And if that's the case, then I might do it a little bit later in the nights, maybe around like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, just to come on and share some love with you guys or something. But worst case scenario, I'll be getting ready to fly out to enjoy my trip. Your girl is turning 37 on March 23rd. Yes. 37 years on this earth. And I gave 13 years of that to the narcissist. So I'm on this earth for 37 years and I donated the 13 years to the narcissist. The rest of it is mine. The rest of my years are mine. I'm not giving no more of it away to anybody who's not deserving of it, okay? Absolutely not. Reserve your energy. Thank you, Max, for the happy birthday wish. Thank you, my love. I appreciate you. I know I'll be getting emails and texts and all these things. And one of my clients sent me this. I'm gonna show you guys really quickly. It's this thing here, right? It's that motion thing that it follows me around when I'm doing my videos and stuff like that. So I'm bringing the whole thing, I'm bringing it on my trip with me. That's my first birthday gift. So thank you so much. Thank you. You know who you are, my love. I appreciate you so much. So I'll be having that on my trip so I could do my vlog and stuff and it could follow me around and get this thing going, right? So I could bring you guys good content. So with that being said, I love you guys all so much. Have an amazing night. Be blessed, be safe, be encouraged, and know that God has you. He has your best interests at heart, and He did not bring you this far to leave you now. I pray that He'll take you out to your destination safe and you travel safe. If you're home, be safe in your household and be vigilant. Be aware and be on the lookout. All right. I love you guys all so much. It's your girl Nessa. Good night, y'all.